Here is the proof copy with the new cover. So we're starting off straight from the end of the last video. If you missed that one, I will link it up here and down in the description. But this video now what I have to do is proofread Hunting Viera. So I have not started yet, but I showed the proof in the previous video. So basically I just need to get through the text and make notes. I'm still trying to develop a proper system to proofread because I have done it before, just this is like the final product that I'm trying to make with this proofreading, so I have to be extra careful and extra focused and detailed and make sure everything is fine. So I expect to have quite a few changes and things, but they all should be really minor details, right? Something that a normal reader will not really care about, but I will care about. Of course, if there's typos, I'm hoping to catch some of those as well. Of course, you can't really have 100% typo-free book. It happens all the time. I catch typos in traditionally published books literally all the time. But I think I do have quite a keen eye on this. I catch all of them in like just normal books I read for fun. So hopefully I should catch as many as possible in my book as well, and also just having it in a different format, like of course an actual paper format rather than reading it on a screen, should hopefully help me catch more errors and weird things. So supplies, of course, I have the book, and then I have 2 red pens because I'm going to mark everything on the actual book. I know the interior is gonna be completely ruined, but it doesn't matter because that's why I got this. And then I also have some post-it notes, just if I need to write down more than I have space for in the actual book. And then I also have some kind of, what are these called? They're also post-it notes, but they're the more sort of transparent ones. I don't know, just some stationery. And then yeah, I can show you a bit just how it kind of looks like now. So I might change some stuff, like I think I want to put the series title on the title page as well. And then just to show you, this is kind of what it looks like now. I decided to add a little illustration. I don't know how well this shows up, just for like every beginning, like every chapter. And I think it turned out really nice. I might change it. This was a test again, so this is kind of part of the proofreading process, that I just have to go through all of this and read it and make sure everything is okay. Oh, another thing I can show you. So you see this scene splitter here? I don't think you can tell what that is because it's too small and grainy to tell. It's actually an illustration I drew of a D20 dice, but I just don't think you can actually tell that that's what this is. So that's one of the things that I now have to look into to see if I should modify it or if I should just use something completely different as the scene break symbol there, because you can make your own, or you can obviously use the ones that the formatting software has already. But, I just kind of wanted it to be a little special and do it myself, but the way it is now, it's not great, so I have to change it or find a different solution. But yes, let's go and start proofreading the book. I don't know how well you can hear me from all the way over there, but I'm just in my reading corner and I made some tea, and yeah, I think I'm just gonna start. I also brought a little notebook so I can write some things that I want to keep in mind, because I already know there's a couple of things that I want to keep in mind while going through the book, to find appropriate places in which to add some very small details. So I'm just gonna start by writing some of those things. So now I'm just going to, well, just start. So it's a few days later and I've started properly proofreading and I'm up to page 70, so about chapter 7, and I just want to give you like a quick look to what that looks like. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but just to, you know, to show you kind of, there's like a few things, at least one thing on each page in the beginning, and as we go further into the book, there's less things that I found, but you know, all the red of course is like, and a lot of it is stuff like, for example, I just have a question mark there because I'm thinking maybe to use a different adjective rather than short time. And yeah, just small things like this is, for example, an echo where I use the word place closely together in the same sentence, so I can replace one of the instances with something else. And then something that I want to remove there, so very small things like that. And so I'm up to page... I'm up to page 70, so chapter 8. That's where I'm at. And yeah, that's how it looks like so far. So I should give a little update. I'm up to page 110. Well, you can't really see that. Chapter 13, page 109 is where I'm at, and I also added some tabs as well. I actually just realized the tabs were the same color as the book, like the yellow and the blue. That was actually unintentional. But the yellow tabs are some things I marked that I want to ask one of my friends about, just because they share the same culture as the character that those scenes are about. And I just want to make sure that, you know, I'm not saying something strange since I am not of that culture. And then the blue tabs are the German sentences that I have in here, because of course the book takes place in Vienna, and I have a few sentences in Austrian German that I've already had them corrected by another one of my friends who is German, who speaks German, but I just want to, since of course this is the proofreading part, I just want to make, you know, completely sure, because this is the last time I'm gonna look at it, I just want to make like absolute sure that I've spelled everything correctly and all that. So yeah, I think from now on all the blue tabs will be German words, German sentences that I have in there, and then the yellow will be very specifically about this character. And I don't know if I'm gonna have a different color for something else that I'll figure out, but that's where I'm at. So I think that went really well this weekend. And yesterday I also wrote a lot on my work in progress draft. I wrote about over 2,000 words, which is a lot for me. I usually write about 1,000 to 1,500 words per like writing session. So writing over 2K was actually super nice. So I have about 110, 120 pages left of this to go through, and it's been quite slow just because I'm really focused when I have to go through. I'm reading every word essentially from this, so it's just been taking a really long time because I have to, you know, you read it way differently when you read it for proofreading than when you read it for any other kind of pass for the story. You're literally just focusing on every single word, so it's taking some time, but I've made, I think, some interesting and good findings and good corrections and things. Very small things, but it's interesting how you can still find small things to change on every single page almost. So, just gonna continue now. you tend to go back and make changes to the same section, just in different ways, because of every single time you kind of make a pass, you check for different things, or you do different things. So for example, when I was editing this, of course I was trying to remove any redundant words and things like that. But in doing so, now that I'm proofreading, I find places where I remember I must have definitely removed some words, but reading through it now, it's definitely missing something. Maybe it's missing some context. So I'm adding back some words, maybe different words, just to make it a smoother reading experience. So it's funny how it just kind of goes back and forth, and you always check for different things and you change different things, which is why the process takes so long and it sort of feels like it never ends. This is definitely the final pass, so I have to make sure that it's a comfortable reading experience. And even if it means I'm gonna add a couple more words to certain sentences, if it makes that sentence easier to read, and especially in the context, then I will do that. So. Again, I found the sentence. Just to kind of give you an example of what I'm looking for when I'm reading through, I found an example of a sentence that just reads a bit awkward, and I've already in my head found a way to make it sound better. So the sentence is, right now, our feet slap against the marble floor with each step, the sound echoing off the stone walls and ceiling. And that kind of seems like it doesn't connect very well. So even just reading it through once, a better way to write the sentence would be, our feet slap against the marble floor, and with each step, the sound echoes off the stone walls and ceiling. I don't know if that sounds like too big of a difference to you, but just in reading this, and even reading it aloud, it just flows much better as a sentence. So that's a correction I'm going to write down. It's literally adding one word and changing echoing to echoes, and it sounds better. It also sometimes helps, like I said, to read it out loud. Read the sentences aloud, which is what I'm doing now. I'm just reading aloud to myself. Decomposing old bones. Can bones decompose? Be right back. Just gonna do a quick Google search. Or better yet, I'm just going to make a note to do the Google search when I get to this point, because I'm a little bit unsure. So I just wrote that question on a post-it note, and I'm just gonna stick it in the relevant place and hope that I actually Google this when I go to make the changes. So it looks like that. It's just a post-it note, and I have a few of these scattered throughout if I haven't shown that before, with just some questions or things that I might want to look further into. So I'm actually really close to being done. I'm at page 276 of like 310. So only a few chapters left, and it's been going really well. And this is what the tabbing looks like right now. So I'm hoping to finish this either today or tomorrow, just finish going through it. Yay, so let's do that. President and present, yeah, okay. So this is an example. So I have a sentence here. They'll take photos with the president and present them to their future children. So I have a feeling, just reading this aloud, or even just reading, that something was off about the sentence, but I couldn't figure out what. And present them felt a bit off to me. Then I thought, why? But it's because it's photos with the president and present, right? So I should change present them with showing them off, something like that. I only have one chapter left to proofread. Chapter 42 is the last chapter. So let's get going. So, it is done. I went through everything up until the very last page and made small corrections and questions and all sorts of things. But they're all really small, however, it's still a lot of things. Now that I've done that, I have to make a plan to how I'm going to approach making the changes, and there's a couple of kind of bigger things, just like a tiny couple, yeah, like a couple of things that I want to do a little more research on, and then I will go into an actual document and make these changes, because I think the actual making of the changes is not going to take too long. Hopefully. I've said this many times before and it has, but hopefully. That's it for proofreading the physical copy. Well, part 1. I might have to proofread the next physical copy, just it's not going to be so in-depth as this for sure. Probably just look for formatting issues and probably check if I end up adding any new sentences or paragraphs, then I'll probably just mark those and check those instead of checking the whole thing. Yes, this once again took longer than I thought it would, but I was also just slow and did other things. So I just kind of worked on it back and forth in between other things. But finally, I finished going through it. But the copy editing is not done. So if this video is already too long, this will be part 1 and I will end it here, and then I will make a part 2 where I actually go through the document and make the changes that I marked in here, and any other things like slight cover and blurb changes and all the things at the back, like the about the author, acknowledgements, things like that, dedication that I don't have now but I have to have in the book, so I'll also do those. And also final illustrations and final formatting for the kind of special text inside the book, so some of the clues and things like that. But that was it for this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time in a new video. Bye!